I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Thursday, February 20th. Residents of a Quincy Housing Authority townhome have been displaced after a one-alarm fire yesterday. The flames broke out at 88 Taffrail Road in Germantown just after 1:30 yesterday afternoon. Fire was reportedly in an oven that then spread to the kitchen. Firefighters quickly knocked down the flames. Nobody was hurt. However, the residents of all 4 units were evacuated. The Quincy Housing Authority was working to find alternate housing while the building is repaired. A fire broke out at a home on Union Street in Holbrook early this morning. Clouds of smoke were seen coming from the roof. The extent of any potential damages or injuries not yet known. Plans to replace the Wollaston Lutheran Church on Hancock Street in Quincy are back before the planning board. Officials last night heard plans to demolish the existing church and parsonage and replace them with a new church that would also include a social center, educational facility, and 3 one-bedroom apartments for church personnel. There would also be 6 parking spaces for the new building. The proposal was downsized from the initial proposal last year that was withdrawn due to concerns about the size and parking. The new plan reduces the size of the building by 10,000 square feet and provides for additional parking at the adjacent DeWare Funeral Home, Fenno House, and the plaza across the street. The public hearing was continued until April 16th. Other news today, a man accused of exposing himself to a child in a bathroom at a sports complex pleaded not guilty to the criminal charge against him yesterday. 44-year-old Robert Schroeder from Pembroke is facing a charge of open and gross lewdness. He was arrested Tuesday after an investigation that began on February 4th at the University Sports Complex, or Starland, on Washington Street in Hanover. Arriving officers met with the victim's parents, who told him that their 7-year-old son had reported a strange encounter with a man after coming out of the bathroom the night before. Prosecutors said the child told investigators he was washing his hands when he turned around and saw a man later identified as Schroeder exposing himself. The prosecution noted that Schroeder admitted to being in the bathroom on that date and having a conversation with the boy, but denied the inappropriate behavior. After investigation, Hanover police arrested Schroeder Tuesday night. After his attorney entered a not guilty plea in Hingham District Court, he was freed on $5,000 bail, with conditions he stay away from the victim. Scheduled to appear again on court on March 14th. The Select Board in Milton voting 3-2 against submitting an MBTA Communities Act action plan to the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities by the state deadline, arguing that the town should be classified as an adjacent community rather than a rapid transit community. Last February, Milton residents voted to reject changes to the town's zoning bylaws, despite the town being required by law to do so as part of the MBTA Communities Act, a statewide plan to increase zoning for multifamily housing near T-stops. The vote result triggered a lawsuit from the Attorney General. Of the 177 towns and cities the law applies to, 31 of them did not meet prior deadlines for compliance. Those communities, Milton included, had a deadline of February 13th to submit an action plan. At its meeting last week, the majority of the selectmen voted against submitting such a plan and in favor of sending a letter to the state requesting an opportunity to discuss the town's classification as a rapid transit community. The John F. Kennedy Presidential Library and Museum in Boston reopened yesterday after it abruptly closed until further notice Tuesday, citing an executive order from President Trump. Yesterday morning, the library reopened to the public. 5 front desk employees, staffers who sold tickets, and directed visitors were cut. The good news for visitors is the library is now free to visit until other employees are trained for front desk jobs that include ticketing. The facility is one of 16 presidential libraries administered by the National Archives and Records Administration. It is unclear how many other presidential libraries faced cuts, but officials say they've spoken to other presidential library directors and they have similar staffing cuts. Governor Healey earlier this month visited that state-run pediatric rehab hospital in Canton that her administration plans to shutter in an effort to save costs and improve care for medically complex patients. The governor visited Pappas Rehabilitation Hospital for Children on February 6th. Healey toured the facility and spoke with Pappas leadership, patients, and staff. She planned to visit the facility after the governor was unable to join Congressman Stephen Lynch and state lawmakers on their January 31st tour. Lynch previously said Healey had not yet visited the 166-acre campus and was reconsidering the closure plan that she announced in January as public opposition escalated. Julie Pinkham, executive director of the Mass Nurses Association, said that she was at Pappas for Healey's visit alongside other union leaders like Chris Lynch of the Mass AFL-CIO. Pinkham said the governor was joined by Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll, Health and Human Services Secretary Kate Walsh, and DPH Commissioner Robbie Goldstein. The administration wants to close Pappas due to deteriorating facility conditions and create a new pediatric wing at another state-run hospital in Westfield, which officials say could save the state $31 million. Pinkham said union leaders and Pappas workers continue to urge Healey to pursue alternative strategies to keep the hospital open. Arc of the South Shore, a family-oriented, community-based nonprofit providing information, referrals, and community programs for individuals with disabilities, is the recipient of a $10,000 United Healthcare Community Grant in support of its first early intervention program. The EI Family-Centered Program provides educational and therapeutic services to children from birth to 3 years old who have developmental concerns due to biological, medical, or environmental factors. Services are provided in everyday settings, including the home, child care centers, and the community. The team-based model allows the child, family, caregivers, and early intervention professionals to work together to create increased opportunities for learning. A variety of parent support, educational services, and resource referrals are also provided through the EI program. A check of business news this morning. Stocks are higher. The Dow up 71. Both the NASDAQ and the S&P rose 14. Global stocks are mixed. The dollar slipped. The euro is up. Oil at almost $72 a barrel. In sports, it's the U.S. and Canada in the four nations face-off rematch at the TD Garden tonight at 8 p.m. And the Celtics are in Philadelphia against the 76ers tonight at 7. The National Weather Service forecast today could see some scattered snow showers with a high of 29. For tonight, clearing, a low of 18. Sunshine tomorrow, high 34. Saturday, a sunny 36, and Sunday, a partly cloudy 39. Out on the water, waves about a foot, winds north 5 to 10, gusting to 20 knots, high tide 4:55 p.m. Sunrise 6:32, sets at 5:23. Traffic note, Fore River Bridge scheduled to open today at 2:15 and Friday at 8 a.m. I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Thursday, February 20th.